My name is Erna Suryani. I born in Magelang 44 years ago. I study in Ubaya with economic development ya, or ilmu ekonomi studi pembangunan saat itu. Jadi ya, I graduated in 1998. Okay, so I can start with my job experience. Right now, I work with PNDS. So this program belongs to Government of Timor-Leste, implemented in 452 sukus or villages in Timor-Leste. But this program supported by Government of Australia. So actually, I work for Government of Australia, but through Australia company. The name of the company is Cardno Emerging Market. Next month, I have been working with them for 6 years.
Oh.
Yeah, next month. So when I apply for the first time, my position as junior finance advisor, and then right now, senior finance advisor for 5 years already until now. Yeah. I will continue. Before I joined with Timor-Leste, I mean for the program PNDS, I worked for World Bank for PNPM as fiduciary analyst. My job cover for all provinces in Indonesia, so I always went around in Indonesia. Mostly all provinces in Indonesia.
6,700 ya, kabupaten
yes.
Ya. My goodness.
Yeah.
We only have
sub-district, kecamatan ya.
Oh, kecamatan ya. So we only have 365 days ya, in a year ya. But you work at 6,000. My goodness. Okay, great.
The total villages in Indonesia approximately 74,000 villages. So this program cover all villages in Indonesia. Yeah. So World Bank give facility or support for the government of Indonesia to implement this program.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, PNDS in Timor-Leste and PNPM Indonesia is the same. We implement the CDD program. So CDD is like a community-driven development program.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, Timor-Leste copy-paste this program from Indonesia. So that's why it's easy for me to join with PNDS in Timor-Leste, because I have experience in Indonesia before. Okay. And then before I joined with World Bank, I worked for Ministry of Home Affairs of Government of Indonesia as financial management specialist and then as microfinance specialist. When I joined for the first time in 2006, I became a financial management specialist for 3 provinces. North Sumatra, South Sulawesi, and East Kalimantan. And then when I became microfinance specialist, I covered 8 provinces: Maluku, North Maluku, Gorontalo, and all provinces in Sulawesi.
Wow.
With the same program, PNPM. But the different objective of my scope of my job, because when I work with World Bank, my job specialty in monitoring the program under Government of Indonesia. So yeah, different scope. Because Government of Indonesia lend a lot of money from World Bank to implement this program. So yeah, like that.
Okay, so
I will continue. Yeah.
Before 2006, I noticed that you, at the early 2000s, you work for some charity programs.
Yes, as volunteer for
Okay,
many programs, but
I see.
I just mentioned 4 programs in here. I think this is my, I don't know, I can found myself working with the community in here. I mean, when I as volunteer, I realized, I aware that this is my, apa ya? It's like a goal, yeah. It's like a goal. I love this program. I love this. I love this activity. So I continue working with community until now.
Okay.
This is the example with community volunteer, and then Bakti Persatuan Foundation, LPPM Ubaya, Elspat in Bogor. Yeah.
That the time that I first time meet you, yeah, at the LPPM, yeah.
Yeah, LPPM
and I noticed that before the time, when you were students, you also demonstrate in 1998. What happened actually?
Yes. Yep. I joined with others in Ubaya, and then a lot and many university in Surabaya at that time, and in East Java, yeah, we participate in the demonstration in 1998.
Yeah, 1998. I mean, I just tell you that the student here, so mostly or all of them, I mean, in 1998, how old are you guys? I think your birthday is the first birthday in 2000, I guess, yeah. Because I'm afraid that they cannot imagine what happened in 1998. So maybe you can tell a bit what happened in 1998.
Yeah,
as a student, yeah. As students, yeah. From the student perspective. To Erna also,
we slept in university, in the government office, and then we stay there for a long time, many days, to demonstrate together with all students in East Java and Surabaya, especially in Surabaya.
What is your expectation that time?
That time, my expectation is something changed in Indonesia. Good governance, transparency, accountability, something changed. Go to the better, more better of Indonesia.
Okay. Then
Pak Heri, I prepare a presentation for PNPM because you mentioned yesterday about development of Indonesia.
Yes.
So I choose PNPM.
Yeah, you can proceed it.
Okay. Yeah, I can continue it. So I want to present or share about my experiences during I working with PNPM. PNPM is National Community Empowerment Program, the biggest community empowerment program in Asia, not just only in Indonesia, because we cover approximately 74,000 villages in Indonesia. So this is the timeline or history of the PNPM. So in 1993, a lot of program initiated by Suharto at that moment. The name is various. For example, IDT, IDP, P3DT, P3DT. Biasanya kita usually we call it P3DT and then VIP program.
IDT mean Impres Desa Tertinggal, is it?
Yes, Desa Tertinggal.
All right.
Yeah, this program famous in the level community in villages. And then something happened in 1998. Mostly student success to when they demonstrate, and then President Suharto give his authority to B.J. Habibie at that moment. But our economic condition is not good at that moment. And then many ministry and agencies at that moment launched similar program actually, but different procedure. But the point is all the program is about community empowerment program.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Ministry of Home launched PPK, PPK or KDP. Is this program based on the sub-district and specialty in rural area, and then other ministry launched P2KP. This is for urban. So PPK for rural and P2KP for urban. This two main program, just an example, because at the moment so many programs, the other program, but more small, yeah, than these two programs. Until 2007, this program with various name changed into one name only, PNPM Mandiri, under SBY, our president at that moment. So all the program changed the name, just only changed the name, but the procedure and system still the same. For example, PPK become, because this program in rural area, so PPK become PNPM Mandiri Perdesaan. P2KP become PNPM Mandiri Perkotaan. Yeah. Until 2014, this program government launched poverty affiliation. Is the transition period from PNPM to village law. I don't know, maybe all of you heard already about this law. So yeah, I don't know, but I will share to all of you. So this is the transition period from PNPM to village law. And then in 2016, government of Indonesia launched this village law become the core program in Indonesia. So each village receive money approximately 1 million, yeah, 1 billion rupiah. 1 billion rupiah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is all stages in community-based development. Either PNPM or PNDS, the stage is the same, the stages is the same. So we will start with initial socialization in community level, and then identifying poverty in each village, because they have different identification of the poverty based on their resources, yeah, from each village. And then self-support mapping. In this stage, our facilitator will help community to find their problem and the solution based on their needs, not based on their want. So from this stage, they will propose approximately 3 proposals to the government to implement the simple basic infrastructure program. Not just infrastructure, actually, PNPM have 5 various programs for education, health, training, or development of the capacity of the community, and then a revolving fund. Yeah, revolving fund for a women group in village. After the implementation, and then the community will utilize this project and try to maintain the result of the project. So this is the concept, the basic concept, the big concept of the CDD. the government want to gain the social capital in the community level, social groups, to increase the capacity of social groups or community groups, and then to make them easy to access the basic services, information, and financial. All of these all of these activities, the goal is to empower community, so make them more independent, advanced, and prosperous. The basic concept like this, and the CDD program just not only in Timor-Leste and Indonesia, but in all around the world. Approximately more than 100 programs right now in the world that implement this program, CDD program. So this is the total sub-district, the total number of sub-district for PNPM Mandiri, not just only for rural, but also for urban and PNPM rural infrastructure, regional. Yeah, this is just only the example of 5 big program of PNPM Indonesia. Actually, there's so many PNPM program with more small coverage of area in Indonesia. So the total in 2012, approximately 6,703 sub-districts. This is the result of the PNPM from 4 main program, 4 main big program at the moment. So PNPM focus on simple basic infrastructure, health facility, education, and access to microfinance or revolving fund, yeah, in the community. PNPM cover approximately all villages in Indonesia, so 90% of total villages implement this program. This is the positive impact of PNPM, so improving the social dynamics and governance, improving the household welfare, access to employment, access to health services, and education.
I have a question.
However, yeah, yep.
It's those things. So I have at least 3 questions. Number 1, the first year of your works in 2000, early 2000s, you work as a frontliner. You meet the community head to head, yeah, and then just focus into some community, and then the next you have to handle the whole community at a macro level management. Yeah. So 6,000, more than 6,000. So how could you do that things? I mean, how do you feel from the frontliner, and then you have to handle the more than 6?
Yeah.
As the first time, I believe that when you work at the frontliner, you can feel anything what the community can feel, and even you can, and then after that you work at the top management at the macro management level, and you have to cover more than 6,000. It is a sub-district in Indonesia and 3,000 islands. So the challenge is totally different. Yeah. So it's like a frog. You start from the water and then you live on the land. So can you tell to us what sort of capacity that you to transform from the frontliner and then to macroeconomic level? So and then you have to deal with, of course, at the macroeconomic you have to deal with the ministry of A and Ministry of B, and so it's a political issue, of course. And then, but at the front, and then you lose the connection with the frontliner. So, so that's the first question. So, would you please to share?
Actually, I am more serious working in this area because of my passion. Yeah, I found my passion when I working as volunteer and then join with other students in the demonstration in 1998. I don't know. I feel this is my passion. So yeah, I work hard for that. For the beginning, I work in Nias Island, North Sumatra, for reconstruction and rehabilitation for tsunami and earthquake. That job is not simple with less resources at that moment. Very difficult for me working in that area, but because of my passion. So yeah, I still working for the community. But my success is not just about my passion. Yeah. Knowledge, yes, knowledge is important, but not very important. From my experiences, our behavior, yeah, attitude is more important. So I don't know if my work performance, I mean, everyone will watch us, yeah, will watch us, and we never know who saw or who identify our work performance. Because I can join with World Bank because of not of my knowledge actually. I mean, a lot of people graduated from overseas, yeah. But I just not. I mean, it's okay with Ubaya. I mean, but until now I still have bachelor degree, not yet master degree, but I can compete with other my colleagues from overseas. So yeah, I can join with World Bank because of my connection actually. Yeah, connection is very
network,
important. Network, yeah, good connection. I mean, positive connection. Connection is not always negative. Yeah, network is number one for me. And then, yeah, working hard. For example, your supervisor asks you, you just complete with 1 or 2 tasks. I will give you 10 tasks. I will give you more than what you want. So yeah, working hard, and then connection.
Okay, how do you enhance
network? Number one.
How do you enhance your networks?
I maintain a good relationship with them. For example, maybe every 6 months I will call my previous colleagues, and then we can meet or just drink a coffee and then share our experience. But I believe she or he will remember my name when when they need support for someone like me, yeah, from finance area. So yeah.
So
maintain your good relationship, yeah.
Okay, and then how to develop your new network, for example, because before you work in front line and then you work in the top management, top macro management, and then you meet the new network, have to meet the new people, and then so on. So how do you deal with the new people? Because, for example, you have to go to Timor Leste. This program, I believe that you just don't meet the villager. You have to meet the Ministry of Finance in Timor Leste, and then some. So it's more than just a friend. So a lot of political interests within your job. How do you deal with the new people with the things?
Yeah, I always try to adapt with the new situation, new culture, new people. So yeah, I can survive until now because of because of the adaptation ability when I'm working with them. For example, when I work in PNPM, I went to South Sulawesi, North Sumatra. They have different culture at all. So yeah, I must adapt, especially in Timor-Leste. We all know the bad history, yeah, between Indonesia and Timor-Leste. So I feel like they don't respect Indonesian people if they can't speak in their local language. So I learned very hard. Tetun language as local language of Timor-Leste. So I learned hard, and then I can speak, I can write in Tetun right now. Yeah, that's my way to adapt in the new situation and with the new colleagues and new people of Timor-Leste.
Okay, talk about the culture. Can you tell one or two experience if you compare between when you go first to the Aceh or North Sumatra and Timor-Leste? It is totally different culture, right? How do you deal with the new culture? Can you tell a story?
There's a quote ya, Indonesian quote ya, yes. Di mana kaki dipijak di situ langit dijunjung. Jadi, so yeah, I always remember these quotes in everywhere I go. So, for example, when I went to Aceh, I must wear hijab. I must wear hijab in Aceh. So yeah, I wear hijab. It's okay. It's okay. As long as my purpose, when I came to that village, success. So it's okay for me. So, and then I must something the head of village give me traditional food that I must eat at that moment in front of all community. So it's okay. I will eat.
Is it good? What kind of food?
It's something like herbal or something. I don't know, but it's okay for me. Yeah, I'm never afraid when I go to the new location.
Okay.
At all.
So in Timor-Leste, I mean, yeah, because you heard as Indonesian guy, yeah, and everyone noticed that you Indonesia, and then so any story that you heard about build a relationship with people over there.
Timor-Leste. The people of Timor-Leste until now still have apa ya?
Prejudice.
Sad story. Sad story with Indonesia.
Okay. Then, right.
Yeah. So, for example, my colleague from Belgium, he married with Indonesian woman. He can speak Indonesia. He can speak bahasa fluently. When he give presentation to the government of Timor-Leste in bahasa, everybody okay. But it's not okay for me when I present the material presentation in bahasa. They will expect me more. So I must present in bahasa. This was example. And then
do you speak English?
Their culture. English or bahasa. Yeah.
Portuguese.
And Portuguese, but I can't speak in Portuguese. I just learned Tetun.
Okay.
The culture is different with Indonesia. For example, they can live together without marriage.
Timor Leste guy.
Timor Leste.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I came there for the first time, I shocked, and then okay, yeah, I can understand their culture. So they will marry for marriage in church and with family after they have enough money to celebrate that marriage ceremony, something like that, because the ceremony needs a lot of money. The couple must give money for all families around them, not just for the parents, but for the uncle, auntie, everyone.
Of course.
Yeah.
I thought it's a culture.
And the education is, yeah, the quality of the education and health is not good enough. Lack of facilities, bad quality. So don't expect more. Don't expect more for the health services in Timor Leste. Yeah.
Okay. What about other provinces like Papua or North Sulawesi? How do you feel? How can you talk about Indonesia? Indonesia is very diverse, yeah. What place that makes you impressed? I mean, not Kalimantan.
Yeah, when I went around Indonesia, I feel more proud, yeah, because I am Indonesian. We have a lot of resources. We can proud of it. Maybe some people don't understand about this, but when you go around Indonesia in all provinces, when you have opportunity to go around Indonesia, you will feel more proud of Indonesia. Yeah, I love Indonesia.
Okay, you have
so much. So,
okay, you have responsibility to take care the more than 6,000 sub districts, and then it's spread in around Indonesia. So, did you pay visit all of those profits, or you just divide among the staff, or how do you manage?
Divide among of the staff. So we have team in World Bank at that moment. Every time we will go to monitor some projects, we will sit together, discuss. We have many meetings to decide the location, the team, and everything. Because every time after we back from the field, we must prepare the report, serious report, as a monitoring report. So we must know our objective before we go to one place. So I went to all provinces, for 33 provinces.
My goodness.
Less one province in NTB. NTB. I don't know. I never had opportunity to go there at that moment. NTB. I cried many times when I went to many provinces in Indonesia, especially in Papua. I never forget that moment when for the first time I went to Papua.
What Papua?
Papua. Yeah, Papua.
What place? What city?
Duga.
Northern part?
I don't know.
Okay.
I went to some villages in Duga and make me shocked. I mean, the condition is not good. I question myself, is it Indonesia? Because it's like not in Indonesia at all. So
What do you
the
mean?
condition is not good. I mean,
What do you mean?
poverty, yeah,
Ah,
community, less of access to education, health, and everything else. The condition of its household is so bad. So actually, this program need all of you guys, need all of you to involve more because the problem is not government problem itself, but this is our problem on how we can get more involved and then give impact to the current situation for the better condition in the future.
yeah, Duga is close to Timika, but it's top of the mountain. Yeah, supposed to be beautiful, close to the Lawrence, what you call Lawrence National Parks. But you just inform us that the facility is not good. I'm afraid that you cannot find any road. Yeah, is there any roads? But
yes, sometimes we must walk for 4 hours. 4 hours, 3 hours just only to found one village.
oh, you walk in the middle of the jungle, yeah.
Yep, but not just only me, together with many facilitators. For example, when I went to South Sulawesi in one district, it took for 3 days just only to reach one village.
Okay.
So not just Papua, but each province have a remote area.
What province?
Very remote area.
South Sulawesi, yeah.
South Sulawesi, yeah, North Sumatra.
They have
West
no.
Sumatra.
There's no education
Mentawai.
system. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mentawai, Nias Island.
How many family live in the village? 25?
The smallest family that I found in North Sumatra, in Nias Island. One village just only have 7 households.
7?
7 households, yes, as one village.
So it's impossible to establish.
And unique because
school, yeah, and puskesmas over there because only 7 families.
Yeah. So that's why we have PNPM Mandiri Generasi Sehat dan Cerdas. This program focus on the health of mother and child in 8 provinces in Indonesia.
Oh.
Yeah, to focus on that.
And then most of them stay in the remote area.
In remote area, very remote area. So it's difficult for them to use vehicle. So, for example, when a woman will deliver her baby, she must walk. She must walk for 1 day, something like that. Approximately 1 day.
To be the hospital.
So that's why PNPM Mandiri Rural, built a house near in the middle of the hospital, so they can stay in this house before continue work to the hospital.
So what is your suggestion? Remove them to the near city or let them stay like that? Because if the road is also as costly, so need time. So It looks like no solutions.
Yeah, the condition of road very bad, mood, and yeah, we can use vehicle. We can use horse, but it's not
supposed to be big horse, yeah, very expensive.
Difficult with everyone. I prefer to walk.
See.
Than use a horse. Yeah. And so many obstacles actually when we facilitate community. It's not easy as I explained in here.
Yeah.
In PNPM Madrid, for example, we have maybe more than 100 facilitator pass away during
the program.
Yeah, during they work with community.
My goodness.
With so many problems.
Guys, anyone like to ask Bu Erna?
Yeah.
All of you from Surabaya?
Please.
Oh, I don't think so, because we have Selika from Papua, Putu from NTB, yeah. Putu, are you from NTB? Yeah.
Wow. Yep.
Someday I will.
Yep.
Then the rest, I think, from Surabaya. So this is Indonesia. What do you like to say about Papua, Selika?
Yep.
About NTB, maybe Putu, you like to say something? Or anyone to ask, please? So this program, namely International Business Network. So then they believe that join the program help them to learn about how to enhance, develop networks. So, but I'm afraid this semester no foreigner come to the class because sorry, Putu from Lombok. I thought she's from NTB. She just text me. So the problem with our class when we have online, the internet is not stable. We have one student from Timor-Leste who complained because when you do some Zoom, he cannot get access. And then a couple of weeks ago, he went to campus and asked for offline class, but it's impossible. Everything's in online. So he just choose a kos-kosan nearby Upaya. So it's a complicated story about the things. Guys, any questions? Daniel?
It happened to me also. Yeah, I still working from home right now. Yeah, so yeah.
So how do you connect
Every
with
day
your colleagues in Timor-Leste?
A Zoom meeting like this, and then WhatsApp group.
Okay.
And through email, yeah, of course. I don't know when I can come back to Timor-Leste because of this pandemic.
Yeah. So for you said that PNPM is not the only program established or run in Indonesia. There are also some other country who adopt this type of programs. So, but you said that PNPM is the largest activities as compared to others. So, can you give example about the things in another country, about the PNPM in another country? Did you meet the different staff from those countries?
So many. The staff from other countries.
Yeah.
Come from all around the world.
Oh, okay. In the World Bank,
for example, in Timor-Leste. In the World Bank, yeah, I met with many people from around the world. At that period, Ibu Sri Mulyani, yeah, as our leader for Asian Pacific. Yep. In Timor-Leste, yeah, my colleagues from so many countries. For example, we have IT advisor from Afghanistan, communication advisor from Italy, and then HR manager from Australia, yeah, from Brazil also, yeah, for infrastructure advisor. Yeah, so.
About community development programs, Indonesia is what you call as it's not only the archipelago countries. We also have Philippines, Maldives, but Indonesia is still the largest one. So, but in many cases, they inform us that their community development is in those countries much better than Indonesia. How do you think about community development in another archipelago's country, actually?
Actually, PNPM is the best. PNPM is the best program for CDD program, as I know until now. If we compare with other program in all around the world.
Oh, really?
For CDD program, for the same program. For example, Sheila program in Cambodia. That program is good enough, but I think PNPM is still the best. And then PNDS also, if we compare with PNPM. Yeah.
What the good thing about
Actually,
PNPM?
I miss PNPM a lot. PNPM, we have good system, we have good management on how the reporting come from village level to national level. We have good MIS, yeah, management information system. Yeah, Indonesian people is good enough. I mean, we have good capacity actually if we compare with others.
What about big country like India? Like India is a big country, right? They have
India
many good IT stuff, yeah.
Yes. And finance, yeah. Mostly finance advisor that I met from India, mostly.
So what the
IT advisor.
Do they have a great program as well? India?
They have great program also for CDDS, especially in revolving fund for women groups. Yes, they success to run that activity, that program.
What about China? Are they doing part of this project, China? It's not a big country.
And have the same program also, yeah, CDD. And then South Korea also have, we call it Samwon Udong, something like that. The name of the program from South Korea.
Oh, even Korea still.
And this program, yes. South Korea still have this program and implement just not only in South Korea, but also in many countries, including in Indonesia. We have Samwon Udong program also from South Korea, and Timor-Leste also implement this year, started this year.
It's part of the World Bank? Oh, okay.
No, government of South Korea.
See. World Bank also.
So when we involve in the program like this for community, we will make so many similar program for
around the world,
maybe all countries. Yes, will come to the one country.
So
sometimes we have the same program.
okay.
So overlapping program, yes, sometimes happen.
Yeah.
In one country.
Okay.
Because of lack of the coordination.
Every country have a different challenge, yeah.
Yes.
In Europe, maybe East Europe, the program has a different story. Maybe in South America is different. So can you compare bits about, before we still have 5 minutes, America, Europe, and maybe Africa? What's different thing with Asia? I mean, Indonesia. Indonesia is more archipelago, so it's different with India, of course. And then what the challenge? What different challenge? Maybe culture.
The different challenge is the facility. Yeah, they mostly they have more good facility than us in archipelago countries, especially in network. Yeah, network. The network. So for example, PNPM have online report and offline report. Online report for them who can send the report at that moment. In that minutes, they can send the report easily. But for offline report, they can access for the internet. So they can access for the, even they send from handphone, send the message, they can't. So yeah, so we separate the report, become two, online and offline. This is also happened in Timor-Leste and in many Asian countries. If we compare with America and Europe country, yeah. So they have more access to the internet and the system, the system of the MI system.
Yeah, they live in a mainline,
better than us.
So the network is better.
Yeah.
So there's a question from Jeremiah. Would you please to speak up, Jeremiah? It's about risk at your works. Yeah, Jeremiah, welcome.
Okay, sir. So I would like to ask about how to adapt in new environment, and is it hard to be an activist? There must be a lot of risk, I think. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremiah. So how to adapt? So we must learn about the culture. First, we must learn about their culture. So we must respect with their culture, and then learn on how they live, and then we make friends, local friends. So it's easy for us to more adapt with that culture. And then working smoothly, in the beginning we must working smoothly, don't aggressive, don't aggressive. So we must know everything before we act. And then the challenges that I face, so many challenges. Sometimes as a normal human, sometimes I want to quit, yes. But and then I remember about my goal in that place that make me give me strength, and then I continue to work in this area. For example, sometimes something happen, so many happen like us, when we have relationship with others, because we work with human, we work with human, and each person have different background, history of their life, different background of education, different culture. So sometimes problem comes. But please never forget your goal, your individual goal, your personal goal. Why? Always ask why you come here, why you work in here, why you go to the community, it is hard, but why you come here? When you realize the first goal or purpose why you work for this activity, that will make you strong.
Okay. So,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
yeah. Okay, of course, everyone will experience based on their times. So, what happened for the first time when you was at 20s? So, and you work at social works or volunteer activities. So,
Yeah.
so rarely young people like to work at the third sector of economics. Yeah. Or could you say about the third sector or voluntary works?
I think every student should, not must, yeah, should try become a volunteer. More benefit that we will gain than the disadvantage. So more advantages that we will receive as volunteer. So I encourage you all to involve as volunteer. Depend on your talent, depend on your interests. You can join with one NGO, local NGO in Surabaya, for example, maybe for the education area or health area. So many NGO in Surabaya. Pak Heri can help you all to find to find that NGOs in Surabaya. You can start to join as volunteer. For the first time when I joined as volunteer, I feel like so I realized that I can benefit to other to another. So even just for small activity that I can give, but there's always an impact to them. So yeah, you should join as volunteer. Yeah.
Thank you, Bu Erna, because it's already 3:09.
You're welcome.
So you have to go work, and the student have to go to another class. So anyone to comment?
Yeah.
So I would like to express more gratitude. Thank you very much for your time. So I hope you will be happy to join our next discussions for another class again. Once again, I would like to thanks for your sharing. Yeah, it's a valuable sharing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
you
you, Pak
very much.
Heri,
Yeah.
for the opportunity, and yeah, to all of you, the student of Baya.
Sorry, it's only 1 hour.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, guys, class is end. So I like to close this our discussion and see you on next week. Yeah. Once again, thank you, Erna. Thank you, Jeremia. Thank you, Jelika, Daniel, Valerie. You want to say something?
Excuse me, Pak Heri. Yes, I want to add something that I want to say that I am Chinese, from Chinese family.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm the only one from Chinese who work for this program in PNPM.
So any obstacle for
at that
Chinese?
moment? So yes, no, I mean, don't worry about your background, family. Don't worry about everything. Just go follow your passion, do the best, and you will success. So don't worry.
Okay.
My family always said, always said that I am crazy because I work for this area.
Yeah.
Because my brother, my sister, they have their own business, but I don't care. I just follow my passion, and I think I am success right now because I have one daughter like you all guys, 20 years old. Yeah. Yeah, I can afford her study in overseas right now in Canada, in Vancouver. She study for IT, yeah, IT.
I have a question,
so
maybe.
Don't worry about your background.
Some people always say to me that Chinese family always expecting that their son or daughter should work as a businessman or businesswoman, supposed not to talk about the politics or social work, or should number one is money, and then is it true, and how you deal with this culture?
Yeah, so I have a better relationship actually in the beginning when I joined in this program with my mom, with my dad, with my family, because they not give blessing to me to work in this area. They always said that this job will never give you a lot of money to survive in this world. But I can, but that is not true. That is not true. So I receive a good salary right now. So you can survive if you join with me.
What do you think?
In this area.
What do you think about money? So, what do you think about money when everyone expecting money? So, and I know you have a great salary, and that, but maybe it's an impact you concern on your goal, even a social goal, yeah. So, what money means for you?
Yes. So, money is not important. When I start to join in this job, in this job, I mean, work with community. I never thought that I will receive a lot of money from this program, because I just follow my passion. I just follow my goal. I want to more involved with the community. But then I don't know. When you work seriously in this program, the money will come to you. I never expect before. Then I realized that actually when we work in all area, not just only for the business or we create a company, actually we can gain a lot of money. Don't worry about your